We are coming to you live from our Auckland Park studios. This is Prime News on SABC 3, and here's what's dominating in your leads at this hour.
The threat of nuclear facilities being impacted is also concerning. Any compromise to nuclear safety could have serious public health consequences.
The World Health Organization says that it has verified 13 attacks on health infrastructure in Iran amid a US-Israeli campaign killing 4 healthcare workers and injuring 25 others. Polo Sullivan has unreservedly apologized to the National Assembly Speaker, Togo Didiza, Parliament and members of the ad hoc committee for abruptly walking out of last Thursday's committee sitting. And the late struggle veteran and COPE leader, Lekota, will be laid to rest next weekend in Bloemfontein. A very good evening to you and welcome to your Thursday edition of Prime News on SABC 3. My name is Beki Mutumodlete, your host for this evening. Let's chart a course through the day's top stories that are defining our world. And with that said, here are your leads. The World Health Organization says that it has verified 13 attacks on health infrastructure in Iran amid a US-Israeli campaign killing 4 healthcare workers and injuring 25 others. The WHO added that 4 healthcare workers have been killed and that hospitals and other health sites suffered minor damage due to strikes nearby. It has warned that aid supply chains were being jeopardized. And meanwhile, Pope Leo also released the video today, praying that God would help our world leaders to renounce the war.
WHO is deeply concerned about the conflict in the Islamic Republic of Iran and the Middle East, with 16 countries affected. So far, almost 1,000 deaths have been reported in Iran, 50 in Lebanon, 13 in Israel, and 11 in other Gulf countries. In addition, WHO has verified 13 attacks on healthcare in Iran and 1 in Lebanon. Under international humanitarian law, healthcare must be protected and not attacked. The threat of nuclear facilities being impacted is also concerning. Any compromise to nuclear safety could have serious public health consequences.
Lord of life, you shaped every human being in your image and likeness. We believe you created us for communion, not for war, for fraternity, not for destruction. You who greeted your disciples, saying, "Peace be with you," grant us the gift of your peace and the strength to make it a reality in history. Today we lift up our prayer for peace in the world, asking that nations renounce weapons and choose the path of dialogue and diplomacy.
In related matters, with limited flights available out of the Middle East, the Department of International Relations and Cooperation is encouraging South Africans in the Middle East to take immediate advantage of the opportunity to leave the region. DIRCO says heavy attacks are expected to continue in the coming days and discourages any non-essential travel to the Middle East.
They are all encouraged to register with our missions. If they can't get a hold of our officials, because the officials themselves are affected by this, and it's difficult to even get to the officers, which is why when they call some of the numbers that we've published, emergency numbers, they go unanswered, or it's just difficult to get through. The option is a Travel Smart app that the department is using. You can access this on all app stores, whether you're using an Android phone or an Apple product. Just go to any of the app stores and download the DIRCO Travel Smart app. That app allows you to register with us. We capture information, contact numbers, where you are, etc., etc.
Private investigator Polo Sullivan has unreservedly apologized to the National Assembly Speaker Togo Didiza, Parliament and members of the ad hoc committee for abruptly walking out of last Thursday's committee sitting. He, however, indicated that the reasons for his walkout were confidential and he penned them in a letter to the committee.
Paul O'Sullivan was back before the committee for the fourth time, but his abrupt departure from the committee last week came back to haunt him. He volunteered an apology in a written affidavit.
I unreservedly apologize to the Speaker of the National Assembly and all Member of Parliament, including but not limited to the Chairman and members of the Ad Hoc Committee, for departing from the Ad Hoc Committee at 13:15 on 2026-02-26.
He also had to answer accusations that he had captured IPID by impersonating IPID officers.
We then provide that information to IPID, and then IPID decided to interview, and they asked me to go with, and the reason they asked me to go with was because they felt, this is the late
Sorry, I think
Mandla
you've answered
Mslangu.
me. But
He felt that Mr. de Pleer would answer questions better to a white man than he would to a black man.
He was also accused of overstepping his powers at IPID after he paid for legal fees of former IPID boss Robert McBride to fight his suspension.
It was kind of the last chance of trying to do something to save this country from going down the drain. And when I got involved with Mr. McBride, which was at the end or beginning of November 2016, I took that involvement through, by the way, I was overseas for Christmas, but I took that involvement through till probably the end of January, and then I said, I've done enough, I'm stepping back. And that's exactly what happened. And if that's capturing IPID, that is a dream. It's the opinion of the Northwest team and their captured prosecutor, and it's the dream of Mr. Pashlani.
And also coming under the spotlight is an agreement with the police that he must be given 2 days' notice before he is arrested. The ad hoc committee continues. Ulelani Philip, SABC News, Parliament.
On to this now. The late struggle veteran and COPE leader, Musiwa Lekota, will be laid to rest next weekend in Bloemfontein. Lekota passed away yesterday morning after a period of illness. His remains arrived in Bloemfontein early this morning. The family says that preparations are underway while they wait for other family members and COPE members to arrive to finalize their arrangements.
Messages are still pouring in, paying homage to Lekota's contribution in politics and in government. Many are reflecting on his patriotic role. He became involved in the South African Students' Organization during his university years. He was in prison on Robben Island alongside other struggle icons. His legacy lives long in his home province of the Free State, where he became the first premier in the democratic South Africa.
He would laugh loud and he'll have that smile in meetings, but when he was confronted with real issues, you can say whatever. He was just, you'll show, the name terror will now come if he has to push his way. If he believed in one thing, he'll push it in the meeting to a point when he will even stand up in the meeting and say, this is my view, and I believe in this.
His commitment to the people of the Free State has not gone unnoticed.
Some of us, we have learned a lot from him. What a leader. What a fighter. A real comrade.
The family says they feel comforted and they believe that he has done his part.
You know, when you have seen somebody ill for too long, you feel that time must just come for him to go and relax. And that's how we felt, and that's how everybody's feeling, because we have been there all day, every day, at the hospital with him.
While preparations are underway for the funeral and memorial services next week, the family is awaiting the president's announcement on the category of funeral service to be accorded to the fallen political veteran. Makhala Masiding, SABC News, Bloemfontein.
After the break, the arts community in South Africa is grieving the loss of legendary comedian, actor, TV host and activist Solie Philander. We'll bring you the details shortly. Welcome back to Prime News on 3. Government has welcomed the Johannesburg High Court's 7-year jail sentence handed down to former ANC MP Vincent Smith for fraud and corruption linked to Bosasa kickbacks and tax evasion, amongst others. In a statement, government said Smith's sentence reflects government's commitment, as articulated by President Cyril Ramaphosa in the 2026 State of the Nation address, to intensify the fight against corruption and ensure that those who abuse public resources are held accountable. It added that implementing the recommendations of the Zondo Commission and other commissions of inquiry is a key part of strengthening democratic institutions and restoring integrity in government. The arts community in South Africa is grieving the loss of legendary comedian, actor, TV host and activist Solie Philander. Philander, a remarkable stand-up comedian, was renowned for his work in television, radio and theatre, which spanned over many decades. Philander died at the age of 65 in Cape Town.
Ambition then, today...
From Alsis River on the Cape Flats, Philander has been described as a torchbearer for amplifying the voices and lived experience of often excluded people.
South Africa has indeed lost one of its most beloved and versatile performing artists. By the age of 23, Solie had already accumulated considerable experience in theatre and cabaret, TV work, stand-up, comedy, radio.
Philander has been lauded for their decades-long work on stage, TV, radio, and the contribution to community activism. Fellow comedians say this trailblazer paved the way for them to flourish in the field.
How could he not be an inspiration to me? Because you don't know where your life's going to take you. But when you realize that you've had the opportunity to look at people like that who paved the way and who showed you what the possibilities are.
Philander, according to some, possessed a happy, bright and smiling personality, even in difficult times.
One of the first jobs I had many years ago was on a set construction company. They were responsible for building of Lirikarai. So I remember Solie from those days and from my first job I had in the late 99s, early 2000s.
Funeral arrangements have not yet been made public. Vanessa Puna, SABC News, Cape Town.
The newly launched Water Sector Anti-Corruption Forum plans to leave no stone unturned in the fight against corruption that has crippled the country's water infrastructure and has robbed millions of South Africans of their dignity and human rights. Water tankers will come under sharp scrutiny, and the Water Sector Anti-Corruption Forum was launched in Pretoria in partnership with the Special Investigation Unit, the Department of Water and Sanitation, the National Prosecuting Authority and civil society in a bid to tackle difficulties such as corruption that's plaguing the water sector in the country.
Launching the Water Sector Anti-Corruption Forum, government and its stakeholders pledge to take decisive action in protecting South Africa's most precious resource, water. The SIU says the water sector is currently the most vulnerable in the country, with its infrastructure that's under siege.
The forum is one of the initiatives in terms of national anti-corruption strategy, which says that the fight against corruption should be the whole societal. As you know, that SIU cannot fight corruption on its own. We require everybody to get involved.
Water tankers became a lucrative interim solution, costing taxpayers billions of rands.
Are tankers being phased out as infrastructure improves, or quietly becoming permanent?
Every person must be vetted. We must build the capacity to vet people that come into our institution, and our CISA is willing to assist and work with that.
The Minister of Water and Sanitation reminded the group that rogue elements in the water sector violate human rights, threaten democracy, the economy, jobs and service delivery.
We have 279 cases that were referred to NPA, but they are not moving because people think that it's not urgent. Water is urgent.
From the asset recovery, what we are saying now is that once we have taken your assets, we'll ensure that we prosecute you.
Patricia Fasahi, SABC News in Pretoria.
Thank you for staying with us. Volkswagen South Africa will recall over 25,700 VW Polos sold between February 2025 and February this year. The National Consumer Commission has confirmed that the recall is to correct the handbrake fittings. According to a statement released by the Commission, the handbrake may pose a safety risk, particularly when the vehicle is parked. The vehicle manufacturer has advised that owners of the affected vehicles should take precautionary measures when parked until the vehicle has been inspected. The company says that any inspection and associated repairs will be done so at no cost to the vehicle owners. It is now time for us to take a look at your latest market snapshot, reflecting the day's trading activity as recorded at 7:30 this evening. It is now time for us to take you to where science meets the skies. Our weather team is on standby with the details, and your forecast is coming up next.
A very good evening to you. Let's take a look at all your weather details now. We've got some isolated rainfall in the forecast for Cape Town overnight, partly cloudy skies for the rest of the Western Cape. Be on the lookout though for widespread showers in the Northern Cape. That's southwards through the Southern Free State in towards the interior of the Eastern Cape. Scattered showers expected elsewhere in that province, with scattered showers in the northern parts of the Free State, Gauteng, Mpumalanga and Limpopo this evening as well. That's all the while as a cold front just brushes along the south coast of South Africa. Widespread showers shifting eastwards tomorrow, bringing that rainfall activity in towards the northwest province, Gauteng, and parts of Mpumalanga southwards in towards the northern Free State now, and across the provincial border in towards KwaZulu-Natal and the Eastern Cape. That's as the second cold front starts to approach landmass, and ahead of it we've got some isolated showers for the Western Cape, wind speeds up to about 40 kilometers an hour for tomorrow. Be on the lookout this evening for the potential of severe thunderstorms through the shade of yellow and orange on the map, and ahead towards tomorrow. These forecasts are shifting northeastwards now, bringing severe thunderstorms at a level 5 possible through the Northern Cape, Northwest Province, Free State and the northwestern parts of KwaZulu-Natal. Be on the lookout for tomorrow as well as towards those mentioned high wind speeds along the south coast, particularly in the Western Cape. Cape Town dropping to 17 overnight, Gqeberha down to 19, Durban 24 overnight, Johannesburg 15, warming up on Friday to a maximum of just 18 degrees. Durban up to 32 degrees, Gqeberha up to 23, Cape Town 22, and Uppington up to about 29. Now ahead towards the middle of the weekend, and things remain cool through the southern coast of South Africa in towards that west coast. Isolated showers for the southern parts. Sunny conditions just for the Northern Cape and parts of the Free State, otherwise cloudy through the central parts and eastern parts of South Africa on towards that east coast. Warmer temperatures in the northern parts of the Free State, but expecting to be cool in the northern parts of the country. Widespread showers now in towards the northeastern parts of South Africa. Scattered showers for Gauteng. That's it from me. Have a great evening ahead.
The news may be over, but the impact remains. We thank you for choosing Prime News on SABC3. Until next time, from myself, Becky, and the team, stay empowered. Take care.